Hi everybody, it's Rick. The TKon Empire has made one appearance in Star Trek canon and another where its effects are seen but are only mentioned as being the result of the TKon by word of God outside of the show. These videos aim to briefly look into just what they are or were as a galactic power and what happened to them. I will be also incorporating some elements of Apocrypha where it doesn't contradict. The TKon Empire was a race of presumed humanoids that existed some 600,000 years before the shows, making them one of the oldest civilizations encountered. However, the universe is far older than that, and even other species in the Milky Way galaxy predate the TKon, such as the creators of the Guardian of Forever, the D'Arce, and the Voth. They did, however, predate the Iconians and exhibited incredibly advanced technology, a frequent hallmark of science fiction ancient empires and fantasy in general. Their empire spanned many worlds. Its reach is not exactly known, but the TKon did talk with the Organians and continued to expand for centuries. They reached a level of technological development where they could basically form their own solar systems, and did as such. They were capable of shifting entire stars to new locations and establishing orbiting planets using some form of space-folding transporter on a massive scale. Again, the specifics are unknown, or how frequently they did this, but it's possible that some solar systems in current era Trek had been such artificial creations, such as the known one in Delphi Ardu. They did create defences on these planetary outposts. Advanced telepathic AI programs called the Portals. These programs were sentient and could adopt physical form at will, which exhibited incredible power. This manifested as an unknown energy field that could simply halt and bind a starship in place, so it's possible that it was this same power that they used to arrange solar systems. Again, the exact details of the TKon remain vague, but they measure their calendar in ages, which is why the timescale is so hard to pin down, as an age has no standard length and is often applied in hindsight. Could be a few centuries, and could be thousands of years. There were several ages mentioned, the ages of Makto, Ozari, Fendor, Zora, Simi and Bastu. The only hint that we have is that an age was divided up into several Bakton, which shares its name with a Mayan measurement of time, 144,000 days or 394 years. The age of Makto was 7 of these, so 2,758 years long, and the age of Bastu was the last one recorded by Portal 6-3. Building throughout the age of Zora, before Makto, was the great endeavour of the TKon, a plan to remedy their own son's death by reversing or replacing it, but this evidently failed, as it was in the age of Makto that the home sun of the TKon Empire went supernova and destabilised their civilization, again somewhere around 600,000 years ago. It is alluded to that this was not an immediate end, as why would it, they were an interstellar power after all, and many did survive this event, but it did mark the beginning of the end for them. After several more ages, the Portal 6-3 of the Delphi Ardu system was put into rest mode for the last time and not encountered again until 2364. We have a possible fate for some of these survivors in Star Trek Picard. The system of eightfold stars was discovered to have been an artificially created octenary star system with a single planet in the centre held in perfect equilibrium by the surrounding stars. This planet was called Aya and devoid of all life except a telepathic archive that contained a message for synthetic life forms. We learn from it that originally this planet did have inhabitants that created artificial life forms, but these AIs were mistreated, so they turned on their creators, eradicating them. They left the Admonition as instructions for any synthetics in later ages as a message on how to follow them, as they then retreated to a different realm. However, this happened 300,000 years ago, at most, so there is a large chapter here we don't know. Well, another one. It could be that there was a Tacon colony on Aya that eventually turned against their portal for some reason, or perhaps another species entirely that simply took over the Tacon's technology after their fall. Point is that those natives of Aya met a sticky end at the hands of AI they created some 300,000 years after the initial disaster that fractured and began the collapse of the Tacon. The only surviving relics from their empire are the results of their galactic level terraforming, stellarforming, in their outpost worlds, and their technology in the hands of their synthetic guardians. It is unlikely that this sort of technology will be forcibly taken over by anyone else, as the portals are way more powerful than most other contemporary powers, and they're not going to share. The synthetics that left are actively hostile to organic life ever since their departure from Aya, and it seems that some of the relics, such as the Admonition, were constructed by their creations and are simply therefore incompatible with organic minds. People who tried to read them went nuts and killed themselves half of the time, or became indoctrinated zealots. The Tacon, like the Iconians, are one of Star Trek's myriad of ancient civilizations lost to the ages of the universe, and I love it when Star Trek delves into this sort of thing because it's a stark reminder that as mighty as the Klingons, Borg, Dominion or Federation are, they have a long, long way to go. Except the Voth. They suck. They've had 20 million years and they still haven't ascended to non-corporeal lifeforms, and still have poor interphasic cloaking that the Federation already outclasses. Put your socks up, Voth. Thanks for watching. I've been Rick and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.